Hey, everybody. Our
Good morning.
Sterling's here. You guys look so forward to it. So him and I just had a little conversation. He has some news, and we're looking forward to listening to the news. And we'll start off with can you tell us anything about Ruth Bader Ginsburg from the other side?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, and I was telling my wife this no less than 24 hours after she passed. It was actually the following morning. I was on the couch kind of after breakfast, and she came and visited me. And I said, well, this is nice, thank you, for visiting. And she said, I have two messages that I want to convey, and I want to make sure that Linda's audience, hears these two messages. I said, okay. So the first message was that she felt that her early departure, if you want to call it that, would be an opportunity to showcase a lot of the public, kind of what the Republicans were up to in terms of, I'll call it, shenanigans and things that, aren't good. So it was an opportunity to showcase all the devious things are going to go on around trying to get a Supreme Court justice through. And that was actually then going to help Biden in the presidency. So it's kind of showing a lot of people what's going on in the Republican Party. The second thing she said, and she said to me several times, is that she saw no less than 5 Republicans moving over during the confirmation process to stop the confirmation before the end of the year. So,
Wow.
so she was giving me the number 5, and I asked her 3 times. I said, "You sure you want me to say it?" She said, "Sterling, 5." I said, "Okay."
So right now we got Murkowski, Collins, probably Mitt Romney, Grassley. And, if Mark Kelly wins Arizona, he could go in real quick.
Yeah, and she didn't give me the 5 names, but she said it was like no less than 5. So
Okay.
with the 5. So
did you feel it'll happen after the election?
I do, because I think that's what's going to go during the lame duck session, is when they're going to try to push it through completely, right, for the vote. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth. Did she seem okay?
Yeah, she seemed very happy and very calm, like she always is. And I got the feeling, it was kind of funny. It was almost like she was making the rounds on business meetings. It's like she had a business meeting with me, then she was off for another business meeting. You know what I mean? So making the rounds. So it was,
Right.
it was
I got hundreds of emails and messages. And people were worried about me. Oh, Linda, Ruth, like, are you okay? I got to admit, I was shocked, because I really thought I kept picking up January. I don't know why, but death comes when it's supposed to come.
It does, and so did I. I mean, I think you and I always knew she was going to pass, and not that long in the future.
Right.
But I didn't want to voice. I was hoping it wasn't before January.
Right. And she was holding on as long as she could.
She was, yeah.
And she had planned on retiring when Hillary Clinton got in.
Yep. Exactly.
And I also feel she felt a little guilty, because when Obama was in, people were saying, now's the time for you to retire so he can get somebody in there that, and she's saying, well, who could he get? Basically, she was in an ego and said, who can he get as good as me? So at that time, she wasn't ready. So, okay. From the other side, does Winston Churchill have a message for us? I like that question.
Yeah, and so that was a request this week, and I think it was like Wednesday of this week. I kind of brought him through. But what's interesting was he was emphatic about, and actually a little angry, believe it or not, at the way that Trump was trying to align himself with himself and the things he did and accomplished during his term. So he made it very clear that he never supported any fascists or fascism, and always supported humanity. And those were the opposite things that he felt 45 was supporting. So he was offended that, Trump was trying to align himself with some of the good deeds that Churchill had done. So he's just making it very, very clear that, let me just tell you, he says, Sterling, I'm the farthest thing from that. I'm offended he's even referencing my name. And I'd appreciate if he passed that on and passed that forward. I said, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's what Lincoln did too. Mm-hmm. Lincoln was just like, but Lincoln is very evolved right now. So it's part of the course of what's going to happen. Trump came for a reason. And when Trump goes, it'll forever change us, because we're woke now.
Right.
Did 45 offer anything for the Middle East agreement between Israel, Bahrain, and UAE? Is this a good agreement?
So this this comes to me as what I call a marketing agreement. So this was like the timing of it was, suspect obviously before the election, but there was a trade out done for military hardware and aircraft. So promises of military aircraft and hardware in exchange for, let us put your name in kind of this press release. So it's being
Okay.
an agreement, but it's more of a press release and doesn't have any teeth in it to the extent that it's not going to be long lasting. Now, the good news is that it kind of brings people to the table. The bad news is that people got promised, military aircraft and hardware that may not be followed through on. So,
Okay. And unfortunately, Israel's getting hit really hard right now with the virus.
Yep, it's going in cycles around the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I always saw Yaman or whatever his name is. I always saw him going. Anyway, 4. Will Democrats win a large enough majority in the House and Senate to end the gridlock?
Yes, and the good news is that RBG kind of helped with that as well. As we just said, that her passing and all the turmoil around the Supreme Court nomination and the process will showcase all the underhanded things going on with Republicans. So
Right.
moving everything more democratic, it's going to help. Yeah.
I don't feel the Justice Roberts going, yay, let's get a conservative in there. I feel they really are sad she's gone.
They are, and he has a couple of really he's honest at the core, Judge. So it's the kind of thing where he fights with his conscience all the time and trying to stay aligned with what he thinks is right and what's going on in the White House.
Right. Okay. Because Trump was trying to invite him to lunches and stuff. He wants everybody to be his puppet. Okay. Right. Why are birds in New Mexico dropping dead by the hundreds? And why are orcas ramming boats in Spain and Portugal? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So those are two different causes. The birds, that's high frequency, like weapons testing being done by the government that's kind of disorienting, causing the birds problems. So high frequency weapons testing. The orcas, that's kind of a climate change issue. So it's something to do with climate change in the water that's causing them to not understand. It's like throws off their radar, their sonic radar, to be able to understand what's friend or foe. And so two different causes, exactly the reason on that one.
Okay. Will there be a major earthquake in California? When?
We just had a small one a couple of nights ago, as you probably saw, right?
Right. And my ears have been ringing a couple of days, so something's coming. I don't know if it's California.
Yeah, I tell you what my guides tell me, this is always, timing is always an issue, but they keep pointing to June of next year as it being a significant, and I almost pick up like June 21st.
Wow.
So it's like June of next year feels to me like it's going to be a good sized shaker in California.
Okay. June of next year. Media is reporting Biden has less support from Latinos. Is this true? If true, why aren't Latinos supporting Biden?
For me, it looks like they're telling you part of this shift is because of a lack of understanding of what immigration policies would be in the Biden administration. So a little bit of a lack of clarity. The other thing telling me is that there's actually now a small contingent of Latino entrepreneurs that somehow feel that policies will be better for them. So a little bit of a divide there, but this will kind of come into focus and better support Biden by the time elections get here. But that's kind of what's going on right now, they're telling me.
Okay, cool. Will alleged unwanted hysterectomies and other abuses at ICE facilities ever be fully investigated? And will the doctor who performed the procedure go to prison for their crimes? Will the women get justice and monetary compensation? By the way, they just showed the guy. They know who he is. He's not even a gynecologist.
Yeah. Very unfortunate situation down there on the border. Actually, that will go to court. It will be litigated. That's kind of on, for me, that's like a 4-year timetable. By the time they research it all and they do all the due diligence and bring it to court, there will be justice for those people.
And I see him losing his license.
And also there'll be some prison time.
Yeah.
Or at least, yeah.
Will special needs kids get better services and not be left behind under the Biden administration?
Also, a bit in the longer run, because there's a lot of things on the table prior to taking care of that. So for me, that gets like 4 or 5 years out. A lot of like restoring the economy gets taken care of the first number of years, and then some of the ancillary programs get taken care of like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll get taken care of.
There is escalating tension between Turkey and Greece. What will happen there?
And a lot of those border conflicts are due to, you know, immigrants trying to get across the border from Turkey into Greece to get into the European Union. So that's going to go on for quite some time. I guess the question is, what's going to happen? Is that?
Yeah. Well, there's conflict. So is it going to come to a head or?
Well, no, it's not going to come to a head. I see it going on for quite a while, and quite a while means, you know, a good year or so before that calms down. So still be a big rush of immigrants trying to get into the European Union at that border. So
right.
It's ongoing. Yeah.
Will banning TikTok cause a backlash against 45?
You know, there's a lot of moving parts on that one, including the fact that I think it was even this morning, Trump backed off of banning TikTok because Oracle is going to take control of their cloud. So
okay.
Actually, 45 just backed off of that. But I don't see the whole TikTok situation benefiting nor, you know, detracting from 45. So it's going to be a non-issue for him. I will tell you this. I think if he had banned TikTok and WeChat, that would have been a problem around the younger vote.
Yeah.
But because now he's laying off of that, it's not going to be a factor. So.
Okay. Will the office / power of the president change after 2020?
Oh, you betcha was the answer. You betcha.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a lot more executive orders and congressional statutes passed against presidential power, also revealing financial records and fully being vetted financially before you become president.
Right.
Not that you're under a 5-year audit. So,
right.
You know, yeah, so big things around that will change, yes.
Okay, good. Looking into the future market, what scientific careers can we look forward to?
So as always, you know, there's a lot of green technology jobs. So that means solar power, alternative energy, solar powered vehicles. There's also a lot of new jobs around telemedicine, healthcare. There's also flying cars, so also in transportation, that'll happen. Drone technology. So, you know, a whole green technology and drone technology and new ways of driving power.
Okay. Eli Lilly is testing antibodies that are given to patients. It doesn't cure the virus, but greatly reduces hospitalizations and deaths. Will this treatment be available to us, and will we get a vaccine?
Yeah, and that was the one I'm just reiterating. That was the antibody approach, right? Is that the antibody you're referring to? Yeah, that's going to proven to be non-effective and also dangerous in some cases. So that's not really going to move forward.
Okay.
So that's not going to be the vaccine technology. Now, you and I have talked about this before, but I still see, my guys are telling me end of August of next year, 2021, several 100 million doses available of 4 manufacturers making the vaccine, but 2 different types. So it looks like one is the RNA type vaccine, the other one is, I forget the approach, but 2 different approaches to how you fight COVID-19.
Okay.
4 manufacturers, but it's end of August, but it's not based on antibodies.
Yeah. Okay. What future technologies do you see?
Almost like the previous question, huh? Yeah, I mean, the future technologies around telemedicine, telehealthcare, green power, green technology, drones. Yeah, I think same
the Green Deal, that's what I see with Biden coming in.
There will, and you know, it's going to be a Green Deal inside of like a New Deal. So
yeah.
It'll, everything all together, yeah.
Are your spiritual guides from God? Are aliens created by God?
The answer is absolutely yes. Everything comes from higher order of the universe.
From the Godhead, yeah.
It does, the hierarchy of the universe, yeah.
Will Biden protect wolves, horses, and endangered species?
The answer to that is eventually. So, it's not going to be immediate, and not that it's not the intent. The focus on the first 3-4 years is going to be just, getting the economy back in
Back
order.
together, getting that debt put down, helping student loans, helping DACA.
Right. And so I think the second 4-year term of the Democratic presidency we see a lot more of those ancillary programs.
Okay, good. What is the future of South Africa?
There's definitely a separation of the state there. So I think that's there's like 9 provinces in Africa, but it's the separation of the Western Cape. I think everybody's concerned about. So I do see that happening over the next few years here. I do see the separation of the Western Cape, where a lot more of the high value people are living, wealthier, high income individuals. Yeah.
Why do some spirits refuse to cross over?
Well, everybody, when they cross over, you cross over a certain energy level. So some people are not comfortable with, the progression necessarily when you cross over. So everybody eventually crosses over and rises to the proper level. But some are afraid to, let's say, put a toe in the water, so to speak. So it takes time. Some people to get a comfort level. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have free will, even in spirit.
You do. You do.
Who is holding up stimulus checks? When do you see them coming out? I know this is hurting Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not surprisingly, that's the presidency and Congress are holding it up. But I do see some good news. I see that in the month of September, and we're almost over in the month of September.
Almost over.
Yeah, but I still see a vote coming that enables a stimulus check as well as supplemental unemployment insurance. It's not going to be the same levels as before.
Right.
So, for me, it looks like the employment supplements like $400, maybe it's $450, and it looks like the stimulus check is maybe $800 or something. But and then I see that money kind of coming out in October.
Okay, but it'll be decided on in September.
I do.
That's why you and I kept getting September.
Right, right.
Will the government ever recognize that white supremacist groups are terrorist organizations?
Yeah, the answer is yes, absolutely. And the good news is that it'll be much easier to prosecute as we go forward over the next number of years. So they will be recognized as a terrorist group, makes it easier in their different rule of law. So.
Okay, good. Do religious relics like the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail exist? And if so, will they ever be found?
That's a really good question, because lots written about that, and even movies on that, like Indiana Jones, right? It was all about so for me, that's 2 different things there. Ark of the Covenant was supposed to hold the 10 Commandments. So for me, that was real at one time. However, now it's gone. So it's either eroded, degraded, whatever it is, but it's gone. So they're not going to find it. The Ark of the, I'm sorry, the other one was
the Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. That for me was a real artifact that'll be found, but people were associating powers to that which are not real. So whether it was universal powers of healing or something else, so what they ascribed to it wasn't real, but they'll actually find that artifact. Yeah.
Okay. Will we ever see an end to animal abuse and cruelty?
Boy, I would sure hope so, but the reality is that as long as mankind has kind of lower forms of energy on the planet, that won't be preventable or stopped. I would hope, but to the mankind, that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. But there will be even stricter laws. People can go to jail, yeah.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
Are 45 and family members moving money abroad so they can escape?
They are. And that's been known, I think, for a number of years. The FBI knows that. And I think that we're going to see, I think you and I inferred that, or at least I inferred from my guides, that there was some release of financial information that somehow connected through the New York Times. I think that's still imminent, that we're going to see a lot of financial information come out. But the answer is yes on that one, yeah.
When will the West Coast firestorm stop burning in Oregon, ?
So is that question, I'm sorry, related just to Oregon or the whole West Coast?
The whole West Coast,
Okay,
actually.
got it. Yeah. For me, we're going to see the fires through the end of October. So it's going to be a little bit of a hard to manage it through the end of October. Yeah.
Okay. Will there be mass layoffs in the federal government either before or after the election?
I think there would have been had Trump still been the president. However, that's going to be stalled, and that's not going to happen in reality.
Good.
So not going to happen.
Are there any new souls, or have we all been here again and again?
They're telling me predominantly 1% of like the souls on the planet now are what I'll call new souls. So almost 99% of all the souls on the planet this time have been here before.
Right.
But the new souls are telling me like are 1% are the ones that are going to carry forward into the next few centuries. So they're here as almost a training ground. Yeah.
Okay. Anything you see coming up for next week?
Well, lots of turmoil around the RBG, Supreme Court replacement. That's, I think that's an obvious. I do see more Republicans coming out in public and saying they're not going to support the process. I think alluding to what Ruth was talking about early in this show here. I do think we're going to see leaks of financial records very soon. Around,
something big with finances is coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a lot more turmoil, unfortunately, around the COVID-19 vaccine and pushes back and forth around this is ready to go, it's not ready to go, this is safe, it's not safe. So
right.
A lot more turmoil among I think there's a dozen manufacturers now, at least.
They're working their buns off. Of course, it's partly money based, but
yeah,
I'd like to say it was good for the good of mankind. But do you have any information your guides want to share?
They do, and this came up several times this week, and boys, it's appropriate that we all need to kind of on our journey right now in this lifetime of what's going on to send love and light to everybody. So a lot of people that we're having difficulty with, be it in politics or family members or business associates, if you're having difficulty, send them love and light and be genuine about it, which just helps them, it helps you, and you find it even tempers the situation. So
okay,
it's a love and light message this week. Yeah.
Right. I'm so glad you did that RBG thing. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, she's a nice, wonderful lady.
What's interesting is when all this started to happen and I was trying to look, the problem is I'm emotionally attached.
Right.
When you're upset and you're emotionally attached, it interrupts the flow. But I felt very strongly when they're talking that he wouldn't have enough votes. And I felt it's a woman that's coming in next. And I also felt that she was not conservative. She feels like she looks at all sides of the situation. Roberts is really going to put a rein on his Supreme Court, and I feel he doesn't want anybody getting political.
I would agree with that. And I'll also tell you, I think you and I were touching base on this before the show, is that, I think we both saw 2 Supreme Court justices coming in. So I see a man and a woman, and my guides weren't clear on whether it's the woman first, then the man, what the time. I see a man and a woman, and I also saw Roberts being very careful about drawing the line between what's good Supreme Court policy and then kind of what the White House wants. So being very careful, being very honest.
Very careful, because I feel like he's not happy with Trump.
No, not at all. He's very uncomfortable. In fact, I can almost envision all the conversations he has in his home life, saying what being asked to do. So
I'm pretty sure it'll be a female that takes Ruth Bader Ginsburg's place.
Yeah, I think there's a very
they almost have to.
Right.
But I also feel that there's going to be a lot of information coming out next week. A lot of drama, even more drama. I just want Mitch McConnell. By the way, Sterling and I just talked about Mitch McConnell, and he said it's going to be close, but he's going. And let me tell you, so much money came into Amy's pocket right after Ruth died.
Right. I think there was a news report, $90 million or $92 million.
$80 million.
Okay, there you go.
$80 million was raised. And I'm telling you, Mark Kelly's going to win. I saw it in a dream, so you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, I believe that. And then you and I also touching base, I want to mention here on this show is that I now see Florida and Texas going blue in the
Yes.
presidential.
And I saw Florida going blue.
Right, I see Florida and Texas.
Yeah. And it's mostly a lot of senior citizens in Florida. And remember, a lot of Puerto Ricans went to Florida.
Right.
And they don't forget.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's so full of it. He's going to call martial law. He's going to do an executive order to make Biden he should never be president. He's not good. He's just going off the deep end. But I do see, for some reason, and I'll talk about it on my show, everybody, I see the Supreme Court somehow involved with the voting, like they did with Florida.
Oh, absolutely, because there's going to be challenges to it in a rigged election, all that. Supreme Court will get involved to certify the election. Absolutely.
And I see the Supreme Court saying, nah, to Trump. Nope.
You know, one thing I just remember that Churchill told me when I was talking to him this week, he said, all cowards run in the end. And so Trump will actually run in the end. By the time, you know, it's all said and done,
right.
That's why he's running to Saudi Arabia. So.
Right, and he even said, everybody, if you let me lose, you'll never see me again. He said that to his peoples.
We could only hope.
Yeah, it's like promises, promises.
Right.
All right, my friend. Well, that was wonderful.
We'll
be back next week. Hopefully next week we got all kinds of gossip for everybody.
I'm sure it's going to be a busy week. I will.
All right. You guys take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Ciao.